friends, welcome back for our next installment of Kitchen Science with me, Miss Liz, one of your librarians here at the South Huntington Public Library. This month we are going to be focusing on chemistry, which is a branch of science. We are going to be using some stuff to make our own chemical reaction at home. Now please be aware that this experiment might be a little bit of a mess, so make sure that you have a nice clean area to work in, you're wearing clothes that are not your favorite, or what's even better, if you are following along with this program at home, maybe go outside and do it if it's a nice day. Because what we're going to be doing with today's Kitchen Science is we're going to be making a volcano using a lemon. Now, this might sound weird, but that's okay because we're going to go through the experiment and I promise it's not going to be as weird at the end. Today's Kitchen Science was designed as a grab and go, so if you registered with us at the South Huntington Public Library, I hope you came on down and got your grab and go bag. If you didn't, that's okay. Today's experiment is also designed to be done using stuff, everyday items that you can find around your kitchen. We're going to talk about what we need for this program in just a few. But with all of that being said, I hope that you are ready to get your science on, you've got your thinking caps on, and you're ready to get going because I am so excited for this experiment. So let's go through some of the supplies that we're going to need for today's experiment and then get started. So to get this experiment started, we're going to go through our list of ingredients and supplies that we need. The first few that I'm going to say were included in your grab and go bag, but if you don't have one, that's okay. Just find them around your kitchen. And then some of the stuff we're all going to need to go and collect. So get ready to get moving around that kitchen before we get going on the actual experiment. So for today, the first thing that we're going to need and the first thing that's in your make and take bag or that you're going to find around your kitchen are 2 lemons that look like this. You're also going to need some baking soda. That's this white stuff in the bag. If you have the make and take. If not, just go in your pantry. I'm sure your grown-ups have baking soda in there. Included were some craft sticks. But if you don't have these at home, you can use anything from a fork to a toothpick. Just something that we can kind of muddle our lemon with. And you're also going to need some vinegar. This was in your make and take bag. You'll find it in a little plastic container. It's kind of stinky, so you will know the minute you open it that it's vinegar. But if you're joining us at home, any vinegar will do. This is white distilled vinegar, but whatever you have, apple cider vinegar, red vinegar, it all works the same. Then what we're all going to need to go find around our house, these are not included in your make and take bag. You're going to want to find some food coloring. This is optional. If you don't have these at home, don't worry about it. You don't need it. This is just if we want our volcano to have a nice fun color to it. You can also use stuff like glitter if you want. This is optional. You don't need that. You're going to want to grab some dish soap. This is optional. This just makes our explosion a little bit bigger in the end, but you don't need it. Grab it if you want it. What's not optional are you're going to want to find a small bowl or a cup, something that looks like this, to put our lemon juice in. You're going to need some kind of knife. Make sure your grown-up is around to help you with when we need this because it can get a little tricky and it might get a little sharp. So find a knife that you can use or something that your grown-up can use with you. You're also going to want to find a baking sheet or a big plate. I don't have that, so I have a big, just nice surface. This is going to be to catch our chemical reaction on. And you can grab, if you want, a measuring spoon, about a teaspoon size if you want, or you can just guesstimate when we do the baking soda part. It's not real that you need a real measurement, but some people like to be exact, especially when science is involved. So feel free to grab that if you want an exact measurement. Once you have all of those supplies assembled, we are ready to get going. So grab those lab coats, make sure you have a nice clean working space to be on, and let's get our science on. So for the first part of our experiment, we're going to need to prep our lemons. And what this means is we're going to roll it around just like this, put your hand on it and roll it on your flat surface. And we're just kind of loosening up the lemon. And what this is doing is loosening up the juice because that juice is going to be what creates our reaction. So you're just going to do this a few times, about 10 to 15 rolls per lemon. And then it's good. And then you're going to take your other lemon and do exactly the same thing. So again, loosen those juices. Roll it about 10 to 15 times, more or less if you want, and you're good to go. Our second step, this is going to be the step that we need our grown-up with maybe, is going to be that we have to cut our lemons. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one lemon, we're gonna take our knife and you're just gonna cut off the end like that. Just so it has a flat bottom. Then what we're gonna do is do the same exact thing on the other side of the lemon to make it flat. And the reason why we do this is to create our volcano, we need a flat surface for it to stand up on. So by cutting it off, we create a flat surface so that our volcano can stand on either end. Then we're gonna take this volcano, or this lemon really, we didn't get to the volcano part yet, and you're gonna now slice it in half. So we have two sides. Now with this lemon, you don't have to get that fancy. This is gonna be the lemon that we take our juice from, so you can just cut it in half. And then what I like to do is I like to cut them in half again. And then with this lemon, what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze out all the lemon juice. So you're gonna take your cup or small bowl, whatever you have at home, and just squeeze that lemon juice on in there. Make sure you get it all out. If you get the seeds in there, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Those seeds won't harm or help our experiment. They're just in there because lemons naturally have seeds, and it's okay. I'm going to give them all one more squeeze. Really get your fingers in there and make sure you get all that lemon juice out. Once you have your lemons all nice and squeezed, these can totally go in the garbage. You don't need them anymore. Or if you compost, they can go in your compost pile. But we're done with these. So you're going to move them to the side. If you got lemon juice around like I did, you can just take a napkin or a towel and wipe it away. You're going to take this cup of juice and set it to the side for a little bit so that you don't knock it over. And we are going to bring over our baking sheet or a big plate. I have both because it's going to get a little messy in here. And now you're going to take your flat lemons and you're going to put them on here. Now, because what we want to do is loosen up the juice of this lemon a little bit, we are going to take our craft sticks, or if you don't have craft sticks, whatever you got at home, a fork or something, and you're just going to kind of poke it a little bit. You'll notice as we do that some of the juice from the lemon rises to the top, and that is exactly what we want. So just poke it, give it about 10 to 15 pokes in each lemon. And you can set your craft stick to the side. Now here's where you can add your food color if you want. You don't have to. This doesn't have to be a colorful experiment if you don't want it to be. But if you're going to do that, you're going to stick some droplets on here so that your lemon looks like that. And then our other optional step, if you're following along with this at home and you want to make it a really big explosion, is that you're going to use your dish soap during this step. So what you're going to do is open it up and just put a little bit on there, not a lot. Just kind of drizzle your soap. Again, this step is not necessary. This is just if you want a bubbly explosion. So now is where the experiment is going to differ between the two sides of the lemon. On this side, we're going to use just the lemon with this base that we've created. On this side, we're going to use the lemon plus the vinegar because we're going to see what volcano erupts how. So for the first one, without the vinegar, we are going to now take our baking soda, which is this stuff. And if you're using exact measurements, you're going to take a teaspoon of it. Or if you're like me, I'm just going to take a little bit of my fingers and put it on top. And now what we're going to see right away is this baking soda starts to bubble up. So you can see already that some of that chemical reaction is happening. You can now take your craft stick and kind of push it in, and that will move your experiment along. And you can also take some of that lemon juice, don't pour it all on. You can take some of that lemon juice and pour it on top to really get that reaction happening. Feel free to keep pushing it down. And this volcano is out of control. Now with this one, we're going to see if it reacts any differently using our vinegar base. So now you're going to find the vinegar that was included in your make and take or the vinegar that you have at home. And you're going to pour just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit on there. And then we're going to repeat the step that we just did using our baking soda to see if that reacts any differently. Take that craft stick, push it down. You'll start to see that bubble. And if you want, you can pour a little bit more vinegar on top, just a little. Nothing crazy. And that'll really get your volcano going. You can also take your lemon juice and see what happens. And if you want to reactivate your other side, just pour more lemon juice on it. Throw more baking soda on it. It's not done yet. You can keep going. Ooh. You'll notice that I have a casualty in my lemon volcanoes. I lost my craft stick. That explosion was so big. But that's okay because I have another one. And you can kind of stick it in, poke around, and see how these experiments go. So while I add some more and have these volcanoes keep erupting, let's talk about the study behind why this happens. So like I said at the beginning, what we're doing today in today's Kitchen Science is we're having a chemistry experiment. So everything we're doing is actually a chemical reaction between these ingredients. More specifically, we're looking at an acid and a base reaction. Our lemons are acting as a citric acid, and the baking soda that we use is a sodium bicarbonate base. So when we mix the acid, which are the lemons, and the base, which is the baking soda, two new chemicals are being formed. We're forming a carbonic acid and a sodium acetate. This new acid is then decomposing into water and carbon dioxide, which is what's causing all this bubble and liquid reactions. So that's the science behind how this works. So like I said, you can keep this experiment going as long as you have lemon juice and vinegar to play with. If your plate's getting messy, you can take these out and transfer them to something new. You can also kind of scrape them a little bit if you want. And then just keep going. The science doesn't have to end. If you want to really have a science experiment, because all science is based in guess, test, and revise, what you can do is you can now, because we learned that we're using a citric acid, you can now take other citric fruits like oranges or grapefruits or limes, and see if they have the same reactions. Is it all citrus fruits, or is it just lemons that work? Create a science log and see what happens. So I hope you all thought that was such an explosive time, just like I did, learning how to make your own lemon volcanoes at home. If you did this science experiment and took videos or pictures, I would love to see what you did. Please feel free to send me any emails to the email address below to let me know what you did, or to let me know if you have any science questions of your own that you may want answered or want to talk about, or have some science facts that you want to tell me. I would love to hear them. Thank you all so much for joining me for this month's installment of Kitchen Science. I hope you had a good time and you enjoyed yourselves. We here at the South Huntington Public Library miss you all so much, and we can't wait to see you soon. Take care, have a nice day, and keep asking questions and keep sciencing on. Have a good one. Bye!